welcome to this episode of Heim Time. I'm here with Jen Ross. I'm Shannon Heim. We're going to walk through our third episode in our series, which is selling your home. What adds or hurts value? So fun, riveting topic we have. So if you haven't had a chance to check out our first two episodes, the first one was biggest home buying mistakes, and the second one is should you wait or buy now? Go back and view those. We'd love for you to take a look at those and ask us any questions off those. So
impressive.
Yeah, impressive right there. So let's jump into the first topic of today's episode, which is small upgrades with big ROI or return on investment. So Jen, I'm going to let you kind of walk through all this stuff. But so the first one we talked about was paint. Should you paint or should you not paint? What does that do for you?
Should you paint or should you not? I think it's important to preface this by saying, good idea to talk to your realtor before jumping in with a bunch of things that you think should be done, because it might not be a good use of your time or money. That said, painting is a very good idea, especially right now while things are slower. If buyers can walk in and they don't have to immediately take on a huge project, which I don't know, painting's hard. I know it's easy and it's also hard. It does make a difference for a small amount of money, but the attention to detail, really important. So I will say that as well. When I go and I film houses for clients, the amount of times that I say painting's hard, guys, because that cutting in or it gets onto the baseboards or to the trim. I mean, I point that out. So
right, and I think that's all part of your prep budget, right? Is looking at paint. Do you have a professional come in and do that for you? And realistically, it's not. I found it's not as a big of a hit to
it can
a budget.
Be really costly though.
Yeah, if you're painting a room or something like that, right?
It's also hard too because a lot of the homes, well, any home, I guess, once it's got its walls exposed to sun coming through the windows, even if you have the exact match of paint and you go to do touch-ups, I mean, even a year after the house was built, it may not match quite right. So that's always fun.
Yeah, and especially if it's so many variables, right? We can talk about paint probably all day long, and I got a couple client or a couple friends that can come in here and talk about paint for.
Oh, I would also like to add, dear contractors and builders, let's use perhaps something different than flat paint. Just a suggestion. Signed, every mom in the world.
There's a reason they do that. Right?
Yes, we all know what that is. It has to do with the bottom line.
And it has to do with that if they're coming through and on a new construction, if they're doing a builder walk and they have to touch up a piece, then a flat paint can actually touch up that one spot and it'll blend. Where when you get into your satins, your eggshells, you'll see that contrast difference. So you'd have to paint that whole wall. So
I would like to have a demonstration of this to be fully convinced that that is the case.
It is the case on stuff. So, well, good. Next thing is small upgrades that could possibly get a big ROI. Landscaping, right? So trimmed hedges, well-maintained lawn, put some colorful flowers out there if it's spring to make that stuff pop.
It's curb appeal.
Curb appeal
all day long.
Right?
I will say, too, sometimes during the year, it's hard to have great curb appeal, especially here in Tennessee where lawns are weird. No one has irrigation and all the things. But now that it's starting to be pretty and things are blooming and your lawn needs love, there's a lot of dandelions and weeds happening, you should mow it and, get things pretty.
Mow it. Maybe have somebody come over and do a quick spray
especially for picture day.
That's
a huge piece.
Yeah.
That first impression.
Yep, mowing it, make it look good on those videos because
correct.
We don't want to see digitally edited grass.
Oh, please don't draw in green painted. I'm so negative today. There are many things I love and appreciate. However, please do not draw in the green, primary color green as lawn in your listing photos.
Yeah. First impressions matter, right? When that client pulls up to the house, right? That first pop of the property is going to definitely make a difference there.
Yes,
So,
for sure.
hardware upgrades. What do you think about that? Your
Hardware upgrades. You're talking about like cabinet,
faucets,
oh, like
cabinets,
fixtures.
fixtures, like that kind of stuff.
So I would say make them match. If you've got like a satin nickel and a brass happening, maybe change those. But that can get costly if you're trying to like unify
Hmm.
throughout. My suggestion, if you do decide to do that, would be to make it all black, just because
That's the in thing right
it's the
now.
in thing. It's modern. I feel like you can find lovely black fixtures and hardware and
Mm.
whatever. But that is a big expense potentially. So, is it the end of all ends? Maybe not. But if it's really sticking out,
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah. And trends change, right?
Mhm.
Trends change. I can't talk today. Change each year, right? With,
Yes. Yes.
your color schemes, your what
Right.
colors are in, that kind
I
of
think
stuff
it's
there.
important to circle back to kitchen cabinetry and painting those.
So, you know,
Oh, is that coming?
nope, but keep going.
I know it falls under paint,
It's
but
on my notes.
it is on your notes. Okay, I did not read your notes. Please take your time if you're painting your kitchen cabinets. Please honestly consult a professional for kitchen cabinet painting.
Yeah, a lot of professionals come out there. We will come walk the house and all that kind of stuff from the real estate side. Not going to charge anything. It's hey, what are these questions that you have? Write that stuff down and let's
Yeah.
walk on your house, because even though we're going over this, every house is its own unique. We're not advocating to go out and spend tens of thousands of dollars where you might not get that big ROI back to back to you on that stuff. So
Yes.
kitchen and bathroom updates were one of them, right?
The
So
attention to detail in those areas is
yeah,
important.
yeah, we have some properties, right? We have all markets have this, but we have a mix of really old houses that haven't been updated. So you have the
Mhm.
pink tile, the green tile in the bathroom.
Yeah.
To where does that cost come off, and that
Sure.
depends. It's going to go down to neighborhood and what your comps are showing and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So definitely something to look at to maximize your ROI off
Right.
of.
Again, a conversation.
Mhm. All right, jumping into the second topic: common mistakes that turn buyers away. So overpricing. So
Ugh.
in a changing market and in any market, we want to make sure that we're priced competitively, priced right based on market conditions that are there, right? So,
That's a hard one
it is a hard
because
one.
it's constantly changing, and you want sellers to understand and also feel um, comfortable, confident, which typically I think they're going to lean more towards higher and see what happens, because people will offer and just offer them less, and that's not always what's happening. So
Right.
being
How do you walk through
aggressive,
those conversations with somebody, with a client that says, let's just price it higher and let's just wait and see?
I say things like, we definitely can do that. Is ultimately your decision. However, what we may see happen is the house sits, or if it's not been sitting very long, then buyers may think it's not appropriate to come in lower. They're not trying to be insulting. And of course, that's a conversation with the buyer's agent, having with the buyers, and depending on experience and how connected they are to the market, they may not have a great pulse on things either.
Hmm.
I think it's really that mindset of, oh, well, people just offer less. We'll just negotiate. They'll just offer less is not really what happens. It does. Um, I think pricing it correctly is the better way to go.
Right. Yeah, and I think pricing it, if you overprice it, it can lead to a stale listing. It can
Right.
lead to, the first question an agent's going to call me and ask is, it's been sitting for X amount of days. What's wrong?
Have you
Why
had
is
any
it?
offers?
Have you had any offers? That kind of stuff where,
Yeah.
out the gate is the best time to have as much traffic through your property, right?
Right.
And just because you listed at a certain price and somebody offers a certain price doesn't mean you have to take that
Sure.
price,
Yes.
right? So it's not like I'm going to list it here and I have to take that. Where, if you have where you're priced competitively, or where your strategic spot is a
Right.
little bit less than, I want those listings that are in the neighborhood or those comparable properties to be the reason that somebody's going to walk to mine or offer that. So if they're a little less value for a little more money, then they're going to knock that out and move to our property, right?
Potentially, yes.
Potentially, and then possibly have more than one offer on that property, which then brings your bidding up on the property. Possibly, right?
It's not an exact science. I
It's
will
not an exact
say
science.
it breaks my heart that a seller would leave money on the table. So that's certainly something we're
Correct.
always mindful of. It's harder to go up. You can't really go up usually unless you get multiple offers.
Right.
Easy to go down, not very easy to go back up on price point. So it's not an exact science. Again, just talking through possibilities and scenarios.
Yep. Next one is neglecting repairs. So small repairs like leaky faucets, broken tile, are noticeable to a buyer, right? And can actually adversely affect the price they're going to offer. If they're like, well, we need all this repairs in the front, why don't we go ahead and just offer them $10,000 less on the property, let's say, and then you're leaving money on the table there where a repair might cost leaky faucet you can fix for parts $20-$30, things like that. So
yeah, I would say elephants in the room. Yeah, let's probably take care of those. We have people who could go out and knock out 10 different things or whatever before we list. But I wouldn't go too deep into the woods with all of that.
Yeah,
unless it's glaring.
Correct. Yeah, glaring stuff there. So jumping into clutter. So when I sit at a listing appointment, I'm telling my clients, hey, you're either, what are the two things I need to do? Depersonalize and declutter. So what does that mean to you, Jen?
That makes me tired. I will share a story. When I was getting a divorce years ago, and I had many years ago, and the agent came out and she was like, you need to do all these things. And I was like, we're kind of putting the house on clearance anyway. And also, like, when you're in different stages of life, that adds a whole new level of so it's like, especially our military families and just the timing and all the things, and sometimes their spouses are away and just, there's a lot going on. So that's a important conversation, and also can be a heavy thing weighing on people. So you want to kind of come alongside and make suggestions and also offer help. I don't know.
Right. And I think that, to your point, the military moves into anyone that's moving, right? The first thing they're going to go is, what do I have boxes? I have boxes. I'm going to have a ton, like, it's going to look like everything's all over the place. There's different solutions to that, right? Put it in one room, or we declutter is just people mistake. I feel people mistake clutter with dirty, and those two things are not the same, right? Oh, my house is a mess. It's all that stuff. Clutter is just, you want little stuff picked up. You don't want more than 3 items. You don't want to create a neutral environment with stuff. Just to your kitchens are a big thing, right? With your countertops, you don't want a million things on there, because the perception is lack of space and storage. So just those little pieces there.
And it's a mind thing too. When you visually look at something, your mind, your eyes need a place to rest, and also it adds space if even if things are kind of small. So I have those conversations with clients, and then on picture day we work really hard to give it that look that is going to be showing the house in its best light.
Yeah, I think that's important, right? Find an agent, find a realtor that's going to go out there with that photographer, walk through, move stuff around, minor things around, because online is your for 96%, probably 99 at this
starting point.
Start point.
Yeah. I will say this too as a fun tip, and that I run into a lot. We don't typically photograph. I don't know if we've ever photographed the garage. So sellers are like, I'll clean up the garage. I'm like, absolutely don't do it. I mean, like, it needs to have at least so you can walk in there. But if you're going to have boxes and all the things happening, garage is a great place. We also are not going to typically photograph closets unless it's like, maybe an amazing walk-in closet. Otherwise, feel free to use your closets to kind of stick things. And on the day of pictures, I'll be like, if you don't mind, I'm going to do some moving, and then you'll. Yeah,
I like to tell my clients, the garage is our friend. Just give it space where they can get around the outside and see the water heater, the electrical panel if it's out there, all that stuff, your mechanicals, and then.
And also, too, you live in your house, so you start to not see I mean, I'm guilty of it too. We just do. We just are. It blends into the environment. So
Hmm.
it's good to have fresh eyes. And also, that's why I don't mind helping on picture day, just
Yeah.
getting it picture ready. I even tell my clients, if you want to leave, take your pets, take your babies. I gotcha.
Which does jump into the next one is
Okay.
an elephant in the room. A lot of times is uh, odors. Yeah, bad odors, we'll say, or
Right. There's a,
odors that will turn people off, and just having that.
you go
Yeah,
nose blind to
you
those.
can go
I
nose
just
blind to
shouted out
those.
some odor control product of some sort, which that's bad. You go nose blind. That's like from a commercial, but could I actually name the product? Could you name that product?
I cannot name
That's
that product.
sad. So that didn't work for their marketing. Just letting whatever company that was.
What year was this?
I don't know.
Was it back in the 1900s?
I don't, probably no.
Because
I don't think so. I feel like
I
it's
don't
more
know.
recent.
All right, big one. Staging or empty house? Does it really matter? This is
That's
your world. You just got your
it's
staging
so
staging
interesting that you
certificate.
say that it's my world. Yes, I did just get the staging certification. However, unlike you, I have no stats on like what the answer is there. Like, it would be a good thing for me to look up as far as what buyers prefer. I will say there, certainly from showing houses to clients all these years, some buyers can picture things with their things and others can't. So I find that sometimes it's a hindrance and sometimes it's helpful.
Yeah,
Both
I
ways.
think that the benefits of staging, right? It helps buyers visualize, will my couch fit here? Will my table fit here?
Right.
Will my what size, oh, will a king size bed fit there? Like
Right.
those types of pieces there. So generally I know we stage, and you stage in the houses for us. You stage the living room, the kitchen, dining
Hmm.
area, and then really the primary
Yes.
bedroom, just so you could see those visual spots,
Hmm.
and then you can carry those measurements into other rooms too. But
Sure.
and it highlights the best features of the house, right? With that, those gathering areas and
Yep.
those rest area in there with the
Hmm.
kitchen. So
Yes, I am someone who can usually visualize. However, some rooms do really seem small, and then you get, furniture in there, and you're like,
right,
wow, it's actually bigger. And then, of course, too, when I make the films for clients, I'm like, all right, a king size bed could go right here, it could go right here, just so they're
yeah,
tracking on the size.
yeah. And a big part that with staging and buying staging stuff, right, is that it doesn't have to be expensive. Deals are out there, right? Strategic
It's my
staging is
favorite part.
effective. So
Yes, which is dangerous and so fun.
what's the benefits of an empty house?
The kids can run around. I always like it. I like take a little sigh when I have clients that have kiddos, which I love kiddos. Bring all the kiddos, bring uncles, aunts, grandmas. The
Yeah,
more the merrier. It's totally fine. It's just a more relaxing thing when there's not breakables and things in there. So parents can truly
mhm,
look and they're not worried about, oh my gosh, please don't touch this.
right. And they can see the true size of that
Right.
space.
And you're actually able to see everything, right?
Mhm.
Are there, areas of the carpet that are needing attention? Are there holes in the walls? Hopefully not. Are there, what things are really going on that were hidden, by furniture potentially? So,
Right, it opens up those spaces, right? So you can see the true condition of the house,
right.
right?
Right.
If there's a rug down in the middle of that floor and there's a piece of that
It's
hardwood
just,
floor that
yeah. Or missing carpet or something.
Timmy got in there and torched the floor or whatever, underneath that, and they were trying to cover it up. Or
Yeah.
we've actually had a real life scenario around somebody tried to put a bed over a carpet that was
Just a giant missing
it was a missing piece,
carpet
and they said, well,
patched
it was disclosed, right? Well,
poorly.
it wasn't, but so anyway, that stuff's there, right? So um, regardless of staging, I think that a well maintained, presentable house is obviously gonna show up the
Yes.
best, whether it's
And
staged or not.
correct. And I will add, turn on your lights, open your windows.
Yeah.
The amount of homes that I go into to show clients or to film, and there are no lights on, and all of the curtains and blinds are closed. And I'm like,
Hmm.
hello, this
Yeah.
is not like,
Yeah. That
I can't,
warm.
for one, I cannot see. And for two, neither will the buyers. And then I'm like blindly attempting to find, light switches and open curtains and all of that. And then I'm like, oh, I guess I should close all the curtains because it's just
Yeah. Now
a
you got to go through and do all that stuff.
right, and it's because I'm trying to showcase your house in its best light, so help us out.
Yeah.
Open your blinds,
Hmm.
turn on your lights.
And then the last piece on this is importance of professional photos.
Dun, dun, dun.
Cannot stress that enough.
Oh my goodness. Even during COVID, when homes were like selling before they were even listed, I feel like they were just like vultures. Like, I sense this house is going on the market. We still did professional photos because it's the correct and right thing to do. So, yes, if obviously, no, we're not trying to say negative things, but if your agent is planning to use their cell phone, maybe not great.
Yeah. Yeah, photos drive online interest, right? We talked about that before, which then drives people in the door, which
Yes,
during COVID and that kind of stuff, the online photos became even more
correct.
because Matterport and virtual tours, being able
Yes.
to set up video and the marketing, just looking at the different houses in a different way
Mhm.
where clients couldn't actually walk into it, right? We
Mhm.
don't really deal with that anymore, but it's you want to show that house up in its best light.
I will say
Um,
also the amount of times that I hear from clients like, "Oh my gosh, this looked so much bigger in the pictures." And then I always feel bad. Not that I did it, but those
right.
photographers are so good at what they do that it really expands, which I guess is
They can.
good. However, I don't like surprises when
Right.
clients actually see houses in person.
Yeah.
I don't know the fix for that. I'm just simply saying it's a thing that I hear quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, there are some tips for you on
Adding and hurting your
adding and
value.
hurt your ROI. So, small upgrades with high return on investment, avoiding common mistakes, and considering staging. So, uh, tune in next time as we discuss first time buyer hacks. So, thank you for tuning in on this episode and see you next time.